What is up, everybody out there in HeroClix land? This once again is Scott Porter back for another brand new Marvel HeroClix unboxing series, this time based around the mega crossover event War of the Realms, starring Thor, and a giant battle for Midgard against the forces of Malekith, the Accursed, the Dark Elf himself, and the rest of the 9 realms, all part of the World Tree, burning, everything laid to waste, and the heroes of the universe getting together to try and end it all and regain their footing, find homes for everybody that was displaced. It was a huge, huge event. Jason Aaron is the architect of it. His run on Thor is incredible. This is the book. Go get it. There is an omnibus coming out in April, but for right now, trade paperback, War of the Realms. There's 6 issues there, as well as a ton of offshoot issues. This storyline is incredible. It reaches all across the universe. Of course, you have all of Thor's lore. All of the Norse mythology in the Marvel way is represented. But the heroes of Earth are put together in a lot of different ways, and almost everybody is on the battlefield. So it is anyone's guess as to what is going to be in this set. I am incredibly excited, though. Incredibly excited because, like I said, Aaron's run is, to me, I think, the greatest single string of Thor stories that has ever existed. And I know that's blasphemy for some people. Simonson's run it stands the test of time, of course, but what Jason Aaron has done is just untouched, unmatched in my head. It gets harder to write great stories as you go forward in time. You know, ideas get reused, and even Aaron does reuse some of his, but that goes part and parcel with Thor and Asgard and all of the Norse mythology. If it has happened, it will happen again. What has happened before will happen again. It's very Battlestar Galactica of it all. But, you know, there is a cycle that happens consistently, you know, ending with Ragnarok and then the rebirth of the gods after that. And, you know, so I like how Jason Aaron started his run and ended his run very similarly, and we'll get into that later on. I'm so glad to have you guys here. The pre-release will be happening the week of February the 2nd. You're going to be able to get your hands on this in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be awesome. And then the actual set release is 2 weeks thereafter. So February is going to be an awesome month. We're going to get a lot of new clicks. And without further ado, let's take a look at the outside of the boosters here and see what we have going on. Let's take a look at just one of them here. We got Thor on the front, of course. On the side there, we've got Spider-Man with his mystical helmet and shield. We've got a Thanos there, which is, he's got the Infinity Gems on the outside of Mjolnir. That doesn't happen in War of the Realms. And I don't actually remember that happening in the books. Where I remember that happening is like an old video game, actually. Like Marvel Superheroes fighting game back on the PlayStation 1 is what that looks like to me. On this other side of the box, we've got a Valkyrie here, but this Valkyrie, I think, is Jane Foster Valkyrie. You know, there are a lot of heroes that fall within the pages of War of the Realms. Brunhilde is one of them, the original Valkyrie, or the head of the Valkyrie. Malekith, of course, here on the bottom. The outside of the box is a little bit sparse, actually. And on the back, that is a Human Torch. But that Human Torch, to some people, might look like the Olympic torch there. It's like Olympic Human Torch. But I believe that that guy, that Human Torch, that goblet with the flame in it, whether you're a fan of the MCU or if you read the books, it looks very much to me like the Eternal Flame that burns for Surtur. So that might be Human Torch and the Eternal Flame. I don't know. But usually on the back of the box, those are chase figures. So I don't remember this happening in the books. Maybe I'm wrong. I could possibly be wrong. But maybe we're getting a little bit more of WizKids kind of playing by their own rules and doing some really cool stuff, like combining different heroes and different elements of Asgardian lore, maybe? There's tons there to be done. I mean, all the Asgardian weapons, they're all named so cool. You got like Dragonfang and Mjolnir and Gungnir, the spear, and you know, so that would be really cool to see maybe some Marvel heroes that have never really taken advantage of those Asgardian weapons and stuff like that, and kind of playing with that kind of theme. Yeah, so that's the outside. They're sparse. You know, usually you would see on the side of the box a sub-theme or something. It would say the word. It would have multiple figures on it. This just has Valkyrie, Malekith, Spider-Man, and then this random Thanos. So let's see what we are going to get here. I'm very excited. I've cracked open the brick. I always start on this side of the box. If you've never watched an unboxing series like this before, if you're new to HeroClix, let me tell you what you're in for very, very quickly. I'm going to open 2 boosters a day, every single day throughout the end of the week. We're going to look at the characters they're in. We're going to look at the cards. We're going to read them out loud. And I'm going to talk a little bit of comic history. And you know, kind of let you in, for people who just play the game and maybe don't know the comic book characters, let you in on some of the history, maybe get you interested in reading some of the books. And if you are here because you love the characters, hopefully get you interested in playing this awesome, awesome game. Also, on the outside of the brick, there are legacy cards, so we'll get into that later this week on one of the other videos. I do have the Play at Home kit, which is an awesome Thor, a very cool map. I do have the Dyson Tokens pack, and I have the Fast Forces. And before we crack into the boosters, let's do the Dyson Tokens pack first as a little teaser, just to whet our appetite, because they did give me the Dyson Token pack. This is my favorite part of opening up at the very first day, because I love the different dice that we get. My son has become a huge fan of the tokens. I can barely ever find mine because he always just raids my HeroClix. So without further ado, I'm going to crack this bad boy open. This is our Dyson Tokens pack. All of the realms of the Norse mythology stuff, the Asgard, Niflheim, Jotunheim, Svartalheim, Alfheim, Heaven, Nidavellir, Vanaheim. Man, I know I'm forgetting one. Midgard. They're all part of the World Tree, and they all have kind of their own runes, right? That you can recognize them by. And the dice for this set have that rune on the top there. That's really, really cool. I love that. It's a really neon green with a pale green die. Very reminiscent of the color palette that we used for Fear itself, which is very, very cool. And then we'll take a look at the tokens here as well, as I just throw them all over the place. The tokens are fun to look at. The reason I like to start with them is because on the back of the tokens, you usually get bystander tokens, and they'll kind of give you little hints of what you're going to find in the set, little previews, you know. So we've got Thor himself, of course. On the back side of Thor, we're looking at Mr. Horse. Oh, yes. Awesome. Okay. All right. We've got... is that the Destroyer armor? What am I looking at here? Wait a minute. No. No, that's Spider-Man. Sorry. Took me a second. Sometimes you're looking for a certain thing. I was, hoping for maybe an Asgardian, but that's Spider-Man on that token on the backside. Pile Driver. One of the Wrecking Crew as a bystander token. Here we've got Loki. Loki in one of their many forms. On the backside, you've got Thunderball. Okay. Here's Freya, Thor's adoptive mother, not his true mother, but on the back of that we've got, a Draug warrior, all right. We've got Malekith on one of the tokens here. On the back side of Malekith, we've got Bulldozer, all right. And then, of course, we've got Daredevil, who becomes the god without fear as he picks up Heimdall's sword, and he starts to take over the Bifrost, controlling the Bifrost, trying to protect the Bifrost. Once it falls, he can still hear and sense everyone across the universe. He says in a moment in the book how he always uses his heightened senses, because he's blind, to battle and to fight, to listen. He can always hear screams in New York. That's how he knows who needs help. But now he can hear screams in the entire universe, and it almost drives him mad. On the back of his, we've got... a rock troll. Okay. So a little Ulick, a little Enchantress. The Wrecking Crew, I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe Wrecker is in this set. That's very cool. The Wrecking Crew, they use regular weapons that are imbued with Asgardian, like, mythical powers. Like, you know, we've got the mystical crowbar that Wrecker uses. So it's a good tie-in on this set. That's really, really cool. And they've got Masters of Evil on there, so hopefully we get some more Masters of Evil in this set. All right, that is the Dyson Tokens pack. I'm amped. I am super amped. Like I said, not sure what we're going to get in this set, as this event touched almost every corner of the Marvel Universe, just as a lot of these massive events do, but it felt a little more focused. On the main storyline, there were some one-shots, some strike forces that were really, really cool. There was like an old Secret Avengers reunion. There was the War Avengers. They were really, really cool. Captain Marvel and Sif teaming up with a bunch of other players like Venom. You know, on the Secret Avengers side, you had Captain America, you had Blade, you had Wolverine. Really cool teams. You had Weapon H, which I'm not a huge fan of, but then there was another strike force that Freya led. I'm hoping we get Freya in this set, along with you know, some really other cool characters that headed off with her. Ghost Rider is involved, Balder is involved. I mean, you've got all of the Asgardians, all of the Marvel heroes really getting together, as well as Malekith and his cadre of generals, basically. He had Curse, he had the Destroyer armor, well, actually, no, Destroyer was a good guy at that point. He has Enchantress on his side, Dario Agger, Ulick the Troll, Laufey the Frost Giant, who has just been reincarnated. I mean, there's just so many possibilities of what can be in this set. Let's get cracking and let's see what we have. I don't think there's enough room in this set for everything. So, of course, I'm going to miss out on some of my favorite parts of the storyline, and I'm sure you guys will too, but I know there's still going to be a lot of incredible stuff. And, oh my gosh, right out the bat, yes, we did. We pulled a super rare, as well as, ooh, some other characters I was not expecting. Let's pop the super rare out first. Wow, Thanos. We got the Thanos from the outside, so we'll figure out what this Thanos is and where he's from. We'll get a better look at him in just a moment. We have a vision. We've seen these visions before, you know, that one where he is phasing. It's kind of like corporeal. We've got Hercules, and this Hercules is very cool. He's in his Asgardians of the Galaxy get up there after he was rescued from the dark gods of Olympus. Long story, I'll get into that in a minute. Nebula, who was the enemy in the Asgardians of the Galaxy storyline, and like I said before, Blade, who was a part of the Avengers at that time, and he's running around. He plays a big part in the War of the Realms storyline. That is a very cool first booster to pull. Let's crack open the cards here. And man, I don't know where I'm going to start. Now I'm like all stoked because we're getting Asgardians of the Galaxy. Asgardians of the Galaxy, you've got Kid Loki controlling the Destroyer armor. You've got, there's one guy I didn't like, Prince of Power or something like that. He's an idiot. The guy's an idiot. But you have Executioner, Scourge, but as a good guy, Scourge. You have Angela. Of course, she's leading the way. And it's a really cool team. I think, who else? Marvel Boy is a part of it. So it's a really cool team. The Guardians of the Galaxy disband completely. And then the Asgardians of the Galaxy get together, and their main impetus is there's this ship that floats around the universe, just carrying basically the shells, the old bodies of gods who die and then are reborn, right? When you die and you're reborn as a god, that old body doesn't actually disappear. It's sent to this ship, and this ship floats through the universe. It's just full of anger and regret, and Kid Loki sees it maybe as possibly a weapon that can be utilized heading into the War of the Realms. So they form this team, and there's this beacon that, that Nebula has actually taken. So we'll take a good look at Nebula here. There's a look at her figure. She has heard about this beacon that calls this ship of undead gods, and she sets out to go find it to try and control it. Take a look at her card real quick. Okay, Nebula, Guardians of the Galaxy. She has pirate and robot keywords. She's set number 10. She has a trait, Constantly improving. Free. Heal Nebula, 1 click. That's just free. Oh, nice. She's got some running shot there, of course. The Guardians team ability. Turn over, take a look at her dial there. Now, you think she's going to be the main villain all the way through this storyline. Not quite, about halfway through. But as Guardians of the Galaxy is a really fun read. If you haven't read it, I know I've kind of told you the basics of the storyline, but there's a lot of things that happen in between. Kid Loki is always really entertaining to read. Real Loki shows up. Loki's really interesting because Loki's like the Voldemort of the Marvel Universe. Like, he leaves like little Horcruxes all over the place. When Kid Loki first appears, after he makes a deal to not be killed, the old Loki he finds in a cave somewhere. But this old Loki is just kind of like an echo, like a memory of him. It gives him some advice. It tells him what is coming. And Kid Loki continues on. And then adult Loki comes back. You've got female Loki. And they are all just pieces that Loki leaves around the universe to keep himself alive and ticking. And he sees the danger in the universe as Kid Loki and decides to set out to put this team together. It's really, really cool. Hercules is a part of that team. Hercules in space. Take a look at his card here. Boom. Hercules now has Avengers, Champions, Defenders, Guardians of the Galaxy, Heroes for Hire, Deity, and Warrior keywords. No traits, no special abilities, except for the team ability, which is Guardians. And let's turn it over here. Pretty solid dial, though. 2 options at 100 or 65 points. A lot of charge, a lot of damage reducers up front. Got some flurry on the back end. Steal energy as well. Keeps him on the board. Very cool. All right, let's move on now to a character I did not expect to see in this set. I guess I maybe should have, though, with Scarlet Witch and Vision having their own show. You know, there's always sub-themes. There's always pieces that don't necessarily have anything to do with the main storyline. This Vision is one, like I said, we've kind of seen before. I expect we'll see another Vision in this set then, if we're seeing this guy. Take a look at his card here, and it looks like we have some shifting focus happening. He is set number 19. He has a trait, Shifting Focus Vision. If Vision begins your turn on the map, replace him with another character with this trait on the same click number. You have a special movement power, Density Shift, Phasing Teleport. When Vision uses it, after resolutions, you may give him an action token, you may give an action token to an opposing character Vision moved through. Okay, move through it, leave a token there, don't even have to roll, that's always nice. Now, you're not going to do any pushing damage, you know, you're not going to push them, but you can keep them in their spot. You can give them a second token. I know people get a little bit feisty when I say push now. We have a point value of 65. He's got that special movement power all the way down his dial. Solid combat values, he always has that. I'm surprised we didn't keep the 18 defense all the way down, since you're keeping the attack, you're keeping the damage value the same all the way through. But there you go. I am now assured that we're going to get another Vision in this set, which means probably going to get some Scarlet Witch too, you know, the WandaVision action. Hopefully we see more of them in the set and see if we have some different variations. I'm sure we're going to have a brick version of Vision, a lot more damage dealing power, because that's the other part of Vision. That's the other thing that he can do. All right, let's take a look at Blade, his figure first here. Blade's really cool in this storyline, and I like the resurgence of Blade in Marvel Comics over the past few years. Always good to have Eric Brooks back in the fray. Take a look here at Daywalker's card. Blade has Avengers, Midnight Suns, Monster, and Mystic keywords. He's set number 13. Oh, let me slide him into frame a little bit there. Ooh, Rally Die has come back. This one is for opposing attack rolls. He has a traded Steal Energy. And then for the Rally Die, when Blade would be KO'd by an opposing character, you may instead remove one of Blade's Rally Dice. If you do, turn him to click number 6. He is protected against Pulse Wave, so he can come back onto the board. And just so everybody is on the same page, if you're new to HeroClix, what's really cool is on the back of the card here, if there's a game mechanic like Rally. You'll have a full explanation right on the card as well as elsewhere in the game materials, but Rally, once per roll, for each die in a finalized attack roll, and for all characters with a matching Rally die and trait color printed under their trait star. After resolutions, you may choose a friendly character to gain a matching Rally die. Rally trait colors specify which attack type they can gain Rally dice from. For Blade, he has red, so that's from opposing attack rolls. So when there is a finalized attack roll for your opponent and it has a 6 in it, for him and all others that have this 6 under their Rally die trait star, you can take one of those 6s and you can place it onto his card as a Rally die token. And then you can utilize that to keep him on the board when he would be KO'd. That's a really cool effect that he has. Gives him some longevity. Makes a lot of sense for Blade as a character. And I showed you the back of the card when I read the Rally die, but I just want to take one more peek at it here. Some charge blades, of course, some flurry on the back end. I would have loved to have seen charge blades flurry. You know, get in there with his blades and just start swinging away. But natural 3 damage, unless you really need the Hail Mary of Blades, Claws, Fangs, I'm not rolling it when I've got a natural 3 damage most of the time. But if you need the Hail Mary, you need to do some big damage, you've got that opportunity. All right, Thanos. This Thanos is so cool. Let's see, on the outside of the box here, you can see, show you this little bottom of the box real quick. Let's see if we can get a close-up maybe. I don't know, let's see if it's possible. Yeah, you could see the colors of the gems on his hammer there. Now on the sculpt itself, they're not as apparent, but I think you can paint them on if you want. I'm looking at it here and not seeing the same things. I think that's the same character though, so very, very cool. He's got a gauntlet on one hand. He's got what looks like Infinity Gems while holding Mjolnir, which is crazy. All right, take a look at his card here. Like I said, I don't remember this particular Thanos happening in the books. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm sure Thanos has picked up the hammer before, but let's look at his card here real quick. We've got Thanos, Eternal, Minions of Thanos, Cosmic and Ruler keyword, set number 54. An Infinity Mjolnir of my own creation. When Thanos hits, roll a d6. On a roll of 1, Mind Zone. After resolutions, Thanos may use mind control as free, but only to target a hit character regardless of range or line of fire. 2. Power Gem. Increase the damage dealt by +1 to each hit target. 3. Reality Stone. After resolutions, you may generate a hindering, blocking, or water terrain marker in a square adjacent to a hit character. On a roll of 4, Soul. After resolutions, heal Thanos by 2 clicks. After a roll of 5, Space. Resolutions, you may place a hit character in a square within 5 squares of their current square. On a roll of 6, Time. Until the end of your next turn, Thanos can use probability control, and opposing characters can't use probability control. Has a special defense power called Darkness and Nothing More. Stop click with Impervious and Regeneration. Thanos can reduce penetrating damage on that click as well. Improved targeting going on. On the back here, got 9 clicks of just this beast. Oh, Thor number 6. Yeah, no, I guess I did miss this in the books. Still, I'm going back to that Marvel Superheroes PlayStation 1 vibes that I'm getting. Real gamers know, let's get it going. That guy was insane. This is very, very cool. I love the Infinity Stones on Mjolnir there, the fact that he's carrying the hammer. He's got the gauntlet on his left there. Yeah, very, very cool. Our first super rare, pulled out of our first booster. Next up, we're going to open up the next booster and see what we get. As Guardians of the Galaxy, I did not expect As Guardians of the Galaxy to pop in there, so that's pretty cool. Let's see what we get here. Oh, looks like we get a couple of Thors. All right. Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Black Widow, and another Vision. All right, so we're starting off with a couple of Visions. Like I said, a character I didn't necessarily expect. You know, in this storyline, Black Widow does play a part. She's a part of the War Avengers, I believe. They go after Malekith in London. Basically, what happens is Malekith and his War Council come to Earth, and they decide, hey, we're just going to divvy up Midgard And, you know, since we've razed all the other realms to the ground and killed everybody and chased them all out of their homes, and we don't really want to live in these places we've destroyed, we're just going to divvy up Midgard, which is Earth, and we're going to make it ours. So you've got South America, I think, is where Enchantress goes. She makes the Dusklands down there. Dario Agger and Roxxon take over Antarctica. And there you go, by the way. Look at those 5 figures here. You've got Cinder, the daughter of Surtur. She takes over Asia for the new Muspelheim. You've got Jotunheim in North America, where the newly resurrected Laufey and the Frost Giants are trying to stake their claim. Svartalfheim is where the Dark Elves, the Dark Fairy realm in Asgardian, or not, in Norse mythology. And they're kind of stationed in London. So the War Avengers, Carol Danvers puts together a team she calls the War Avengers, and her and Sif go after Malekith in London, where he has set up his new Svartalfheim. Let's see, I think Africa is the new Kingdom of Heaven. This is all happening in War of the Realms. So once Heaven is unlocked again and the Queen of Heaven and all of them are free to rage throughout the universe, they end up fighting the Dor Milaje in Africa. It's really, really cool, all these little battles that are happening. But yeah, Black Widow is part of the War Avengers, and that's actually a really big turning point in the whole story, what happens there. We'll talk about that later. If we pull Venom, or if we pull Malekith, we'll have a chat about that. Okay, let's start with this Vision. Take a quick peek at his sculpt here. Solid, painted, no longer phasing anywhere. Take a look at the card real quick. The card tells us that Vision has Avengers and robot keywords. He's set number 3. Has shifting focus as well, which we just read on the other one. This particular Vision, though, has a special movement power called Come In Like a Wrecking Ball. He came in like a wrecking ball. Sorry, I couldn't help it. When Vision is giving a move action after resolutions, you may deal an adjacent opposing character 1 damage. All right, let's see what his power set is. Oh, yeah. No, he's solid as can be. Solid as a rock. Again, the same stat line as the other Vision that we had. The exact same stat lines where he's got that 18D, it goes down to a 17. Everything else holds strong, 3 damage, etc., etc. A cool take on shifting focus. I don't know if we're going to get another Vision. Like, what are we going to get? Like a tech cerebral Vision. You know, Vision can tap into machinery sometimes and can always, you know, use that AI stuff that he's got going on. So, By the way, what is in Scott Porter's cup today? Today it's Phil's Coffee. Phil's, P-H-I-L-L-Z, where they grind the beans for you and brew the cup fresh every single time. This is their gratitude blend. That's what's in Scott Porter's cup today. Okay, let's get moving still. We've got a lot of ground to cover. We've got 2 Thors in here. Hawkeye. This is another character I wasn't expecting to see in here. I think she's in a panel or 2, maybe on a cover, but Kate Bishop really doesn't have a ton to do in the War of the Realms books. We'll take a look at her card here. But yeah, she's not really a major part of it, so I think we're also getting the effects of, like, you know, Hawkeye's show just came out. We're keeping, you know, people who maybe aren't as huge of a fan of Thor interested, and we're giving those HeroClix players something from this set as well, which is really cool, because if you can't go into the deep lore and read that really dense Jason Aaron run of Thor, if maybe that's not your cup of tea, at least you're getting some characters that are Avengers favorites, you know, Vision, Young Avengers with Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. So I think it's a really smart move by WizKids. Let's see what she does, though. Avengers, Young Avengers, martial artist and spy keywords. She is set number 12. She has a special movement power, Sneak a Peek, running shot, and sidestep together. So that's cool. You can get yourself in position, poke yourself around a corner, see if there's anything worth trying to target, and you could pull a little running shot as well. That's fun. She's got 8 range, 3 targets. That's massive range. She's only 50 points. Has some penetrating psychic blast there as well. She might be a little sleeper piece in this set. I like her a lot. I would definitely play that version. All right, let's go to the War Avengers. We've got Black Widow here. All right, take a peek at her sculpt. That's a typical Natasha sculpt. Take a look at her card here. Like I said, her main mission or main part of War of the Realms was in one of the Strike Force issues, which are these standalone issues that are little tangential issues from War of the Realms. And there was Strike Force War Avengers. Black Widow is a part of that. Let's take a look at her card. Set number 11, Avengers, Champions, Shield, Thunderbolts, Martial Artist, and Spy. She's got a trait, wait for the perfect opportunity. Stealth. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Avengers keyword can use stealth. Ooh, okay. You can turtle up a little bit, move yourself across the board, gain stealth, stay all together. That's pretty cool, the back of her card there. Nothing too crazy, 50 points. At least we're getting some good point values here. I do like that she's granting stealth to the rest of the Avengers. It's kind of always a risky play, especially with the new rule where you can attack multiple figures with multiple arrows. If you see, she's got 3 arrows here on her figure. Actually, if we can go top down, we got Zach in the back there. Everybody say, what's up, Zach? We've got 3 targets here, and that means when she's up close, she can target 3 adjacent characters as well, which is pretty cool. So, you know, with that though, if you're hunkering down, just doing all stealth and moving together as a unit, you get somebody who can come in and wreck shop multiple close combat attacks on your squad. You could be hurting coming out the other side of that. It's like a close combat energy explosion coming in, boom, boom, boom. You know, so you've got to be careful even when you're in stealth, when you're turtling up like that. I do like the possibilities she opens up. All right, let's take a look at these Thor sculpts together. I'm sure we're going to get a ton of Thor in this set. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if we got 4 or more Thors. I mean, that's how the War of the Realms ends, actually, with 4 Thors versus Malekith. It's pretty cool. So I would think we would get 4 or more Thors. One thing that Jason Aaron did in the books, way back when he started the first storyline with Gore the God Butcher, is Thor couldn't beat the God Butcher by himself. But after a journey to gain wisdom, trying to emulate the way that Odin, when Odin lost an eye and gained all the wisdom of the universe, and Thor tries to kind of do the same thing and gain wisdom, figure out how to kill the God Butcher. He ends up learning that he has to defeat him, but multiple versions of himself are utilized. A younger version of himself that's only like 800 years old that he pulls up, that's super cocky, very arrogant, very strong, but not worthy of picking up Mjolnir yet. He just has an axe. And so I hope we get that version of Thor. And then you've got, from the future, King Thor, who is just a badass. And you've got King Thor, you've got current Thor, and you've got that youthful Thor. They got together, and that's kind of how they defeat Gore the God Butcher. Well, at the end of War of the Realms, that same thing happens, except there's a 4th Thor that comes into play that I think will probably pull as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a Thor at each rarity, as well as a couple of different Thors. Because, you know, Thor, at this point during War of the Realms, his arm has gotten ripped off, and he's using a piece of the Destroyer armor as his left arm. He doesn't have Mjolnir currently. Mjolnir's been thrown into the sun to defeat the Mangog, I think. I think Jane Foster did that as her last act as Thor. And so he has multiple hammers currently. He has a Destroyer arm, but he does not have Mjolnir. And so I'm hoping we're going to get a bunch of different versions of Thor. Maybe the one that's in this storyline, maybe the young Thor, maybe King Thor, and so on and so forth. So let's see what we have. We will start with the lower rarity one. I guess that's number 17. Let's see. Here's the card for Thor, number 17 in the set. He has Asgardian, Avengers, Deity, and Warrior. He's got a trait, not the God of Hammers. When Thor hits a range attack, after resolutions, he may use Energy Explosion as free, but must target a hit character. Ooh, okay. That's kind of interesting. Not the God of Hammers. I like that a lot. The Energy Explosion. Look on the back here. You've got Running Shot, Psy Blast. Woo! Oh, man. That is Psy Blast all the way down. 4 natural damage. Picks up a tick at the end as well. Has some regeneration. That is really, really cool. you know, at some point, Thor picks up the Thor Force. Thor battles Galactus. You know, I've got Galactus here. Everybody's like, why is Galactus in every video? Well, because Galactus is tied to everybody. Eventually, King Thor, a big, huge fight. The Necrosword, all black, plays a huge part in that. You know, eventually Thor has to kill Galactus. And that happens in a different storyline. We'll talk about that later. But yeah. Symbiotes play a big part in War of the Realms as well, and they play a big part in Thor's relationship with Galactus. But, you know, I want some of that Thor as well. So there's that. I like how they say, and maybe it's gold, it's not silver. I'm going to put him back out here, but maybe this is that current Thor, you know, with lost his arm. You can see that gold arm there that he's got going on. Not the god of hammers, maybe because he doesn't have Mjolnir, and he starts creating all these other hammers, but they chip away, they break, they explode, they do all these things, so maybe that's kind of why that power is going on. We've got another Thor here. Now this Thor is really cool looking. I love the lightning coming off of the hammer there. That is surely Mjolnir in this one. Some more of a classic Thor, I believe. We'll take a look at this Thor's card real quick. We've got set number 31, Asgardian, Avengers, Deity, and Warrior keywords. This Thor has shifting focus, whereas the other one doesn't. Okay. Free if Thor begins your turn on the map. Replace him with another character with this trait on the same click number. Okay. Mjolnir, carry me, dance of the battle. So this is more of your classic Thor. Pretty strong dial there on the back, but nothing compared to the other one that we just saw. Yeah, I think the other one that we just saw is more the Thor that we have in this storyline. And that is really, really cool. So he will not be shifting focus, but if we're going to have a shifting focus Thor, I'm guessing we're going to have a couple other versions of him that will swing in and out. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up day one of our unboxing series for War of the Realms. And it went so quick, I can't believe, I just want to open more. I just want to open more right now because I'm super excited. We're getting some characters I wasn't expecting, but like I said, I think that's really cool because not every HeroClix player, not every comic book reader really dives into the deep lore of Thor. I would urge you to, especially with Jason Aaron's run, go down that rabbit hole. You'll meet a lot of characters you might not know. You don't know the history of everybody. Everybody seems to be related to everybody. You know, Baldur's story on his own can be just an ages-long process. Sif's story on her own, figuring out how Angela came to be, trying to follow all the political inner workings of the Asgardian realm, plus all of the other species from all of the other realms. But it's worth it. The payoff is huge. Jason Aaron writes a wonderful, grandiose tale that rivals a lot of other fantasy and mythological stories that I've read. So I think it's worth going down that rabbit hole, and I urge you to. Again, the set is available for pre-release. Call your local brick and mortar stores, see if they're going to have in-person events. If they are, please be safe. But call your local brick and mortar stores, figure out when their pre-release is going to happen. Get these figures in your hand a little bit early, February 2nd, the week of February 2nd, and after that, make sure you keep in touch with your local comic shops or brick and mortar stores and gaming stores and say, I want to order some through you guys. Make sure you're taking care of them. Those stores take care of us all of the time, and you know, small businesses need our help right now, so make sure that you're ordering through your local shops. And the set will be officially releasing in mid-February. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I know you guys can't either. I want to say thank you to WizKids for sending me this awesome early sneak peek at War of the Realms. Tell me in the comments below, what was your favorite moment? If you read War of the Realms, what was your favorite moment of the story? If you didn't, tell me below who you are looking forward to getting the most in this particular set, or hoping that I pull. And we'll chat. We'll mix it up in the comments section as we always do. I want to say thank you to HyperRPG for letting us shoot in this wonderful studio. Zach on the back on the dials, taking care of me out here, making me look like I actually know what I'm doing. And yeah, that's going to do it for today. I'll see you back tomorrow. And until I do, may all your rolls be critical hits. That's a 7.